Excellent. So the recording has started. So once again, I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Lola Clayton. I am a career advisor here at WGU, and I work alongside a wonderful and amazing team of career professional development advisors as well. This evening, I am going to chat about navigating your career moves with Handshake, maximizing Handshake to conquer your career goals. So please, by all means, this is an interactive, as much as possible, workshop. So if you have questions, thoughts, comments, testimonies that you'd like to share, toss them in the chat at any time. Happy to make sure that I acknowledge them. As we talk about Handshake and its usage in your job search, I'll be sharing even some of my personal experiences of trying to find a job, ones that I have heard from students during conversations. So if you have anything that you can attest to, feel free to toss that in the chat. My only thought or word of advice is that if you have a question, just put a Q in front of your question. Therefore, I'll assign priority to that. I'll be toggling back and forth between the slides and the chat feature. So if you could, just put a Q in front of your question, and I'll make sure I get it answered promptly. So just want you to know during our time spent together in this workshop that you can stretch, stand up, take care of your needs, move around, anything that you need to be comfortable. Obviously, I will be doing the facilitating and majority of the talking, but I want you to be just as relaxed as possible. All questions are invited, all responses are invited and welcome. So just toss them in the chat. Happy to connect with you that way. Have any questions outside of this presentation, you can email us directly at careers@wgu.edu. That is our team email. I will also put in the chat my email. So if you have any direct questions regarding the presentation, the information that I'm sharing, or some additional resources that you would like to receive around Handshake, happy to send that over to you. And just as a quick reminder, this presentation is being recorded and will be sent out to you within the next 48 hours, just in case there's any content that you would like to revisit or listen to, or maybe you might have to leave a little bit earlier, but the presentation will be sent out to you via recording. So this is what our agenda looks like this evening. We're going to talk about Handshake, talk about its purpose. I will pull it up, do some exploration with Handshake. And one of my favorite parts is to kind of show statistics. I always like to show where we were previous year as far as our jobs that we received and where we are now. And I think that data always helps us to see just how useful and how, and just provide us with a great measure of what Handshake can do and the benefits that it provides. I'll talk a little bit about how to navigate your job search, whether it's an actual position, if it's entry level, if it's an internship. And of course, question and answer is not always held for the end. It is, again, totally engaging. So if you have a question, don't be shy, toss it in the chat, and I'll make sure I address it accordingly. So when you explore Handshake, these are the 4 main features that is going to help you get started. Of course, you want to create a login, upload your resume, complete a profile, not just partially, but to maximum capacity, and then you can search for companies of interest, and more importantly, they can search for you. So I'm going to pause right here and just toss out a couple of questions. Has anyone, or does anyone that's with me this evening in the workshop, do you already have a Handshake profile, if you feel comfortable in sharing? And if so, great. Has it been helpful? Are employers reaching out? Part of our day-to-day activity is to connect with alumni and active students, and so I often hear they use Handshake, employers will send them some jobs, and then others have maybe not completed their profile. So if you have a profile, great, okay, perfect. If it's at 100%, excellent. Some people are still working on their profile. If this is your first time hearing about Handshake, let me know. Would like to definitely make sure I adjust my pace accordingly. Okay, so completed your profile. Great, excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you again for sharing that and for hopping in the chat. So if you have created a profile, then these steps hopefully you've conquered. If you haven't, one of the first things you want to do is definitely create a login, upload your resume. That's crucial. And complete your profile. And again, I'll say to maximum capacity as much as possible if you can. The more you have about your job interests, your roles, your education, any credentials that you've acquired, the more the employer can see about you. And I will tell you, employers are active on Handshake. That is a capital fact. They are definitely active, particularly recruiters. Recruiters' entire role is to find talent, and they are using Handshake to find talent and fulfill positions or fill positions that they either know are open now or that they're forecasting to be open. So I think I have a profile. I do get offers to apply, but most are out of state. Yep, that happens. That definitely happens. And I believe there is a setting where you can adjust your location. I'll talk a little bit about remote work and working from home, if that's a location option that you'd like to include on your profile as well. But if they are reaching out to you, my question is always, are you responding, whether they are out of state or not, whether you're interested or you're not interested? I always like to toss that out there. Are you responding back to the employer? And I'll tell you, I ask that question because I often get a mixture of the responses. No, okay, no worries at all. If you are not, no problem. If you are, great. I encourage, just as an advisor, that you, even if they solicit you for a position that it's not one that you're interested in, or maybe the location, it's a great way to build a network. And we also offer a workshop around networking and the benefits of that. But if you kindly respond and say, thank you so much, but not interested in that state, do you have another location that's within my territory? Or do you have any work from home opportunities? It's a great way to just ask questions, build a network, reconnect with the employer. Maybe that position that you're interested in isn't available now, but you've created a network and potentially tapped into the hidden job market, and that employer may reach back out to you and say, hey, I remember Lola connecting with you, sending you this job offer in Arizona, but you stated you were in Virginia. So we have one in Virginia, and one of our sister locations like to kind of chat with you about it. So just some food for thought there if that is indeed your situation. All right, perfect. So this link here just kind of shows what it looks like if you are looking for the Handshake guide, how to get started. You can use the filters. Keywords are essential. Keywords are definitely essential. So if you are in accounting, maybe you want to search by job roles, so you can put accountant, accounting specialist, entry-level accounting, any type of keywords that you like to use, and that helps Handshake, the software, to kind of filter out the positions that you are searching for. Yeah, absolutely. I see someone says still finishing my degree program, but yeah, no worries at all. I will share with you this exact same link that you see for Handshake. Just in case you would like to use it, it does come with a quick tutorial video. And so I will share that with you now. If the link comes up. All right, there we go. I'm going to pop that link in the chat for you. So if you are in an active job search, that link will be helpful. This is the guide as well as a minute. I believe the video is about 2 minutes long, a little less than that, if you will. That just kind of helps you to navigate how to use Handshake on your own independently. You can start the video, stop the video, and then it provides you with some successful tips on how to navigate for your job search. And even if you aren't active in trying to find a position, this is just a great way to get started with Handshake, to acquire some familiarity with Handshake and its benefits and its usage. And so when you are ready to look for a position, or even if you're just fishing, you just want to see what's out there, Handshake is a great way this is a great guide in order to find a position via Handshake. So hopefully you got that link. Feel free to grab it and use it at your leisure. All right. A helpful handshake is exactly what Handshake is intended to be. Handshake is your friend. It helps you connect with employers. It helps you to research employers So maybe you, at this point in your career, maybe you're like, well, it's not all about compensation for me. It's about stability, or it's about working for a company that's thriving, or it's about work-life balance, or it's about a organization that gives back to their community. Maybe that's your thought process as you approach your career or after you've completed your degree. So this allows you to really research employers. They create a profile just like an active student or an alumni does. And so you can kind of see who's active, who's out there. They normally provide information around their mission statement, their core values, and definitely around their current open positions. I do see a question in the chat. It says, are these resources available after graduation? And yes, they are, absolutely. Not only is Handshake available to you, so are opportunities to connect with an advisor, such as myself. So if you have questions about your resume, career planning, career exploration, again, job search, interviewing, maybe you are looking at graduate level school and beyond, that is definitely something that we can assist you with, and would definitely open an invitation to connect if you have questions after graduation. And I'm like, keep access to Handshake account. Yes, you are right, absolutely. So a helpful handshake, just drifting back to the slide here, you are able to save job postings and receive alert notifications. So if you download the app, if you're Team Android like me or Team Apple, whichever one, you're able to download the app and save it on your phone. You can quick apply for positions, but more importantly, you can set up job alerts with various companies to see what positions are out there. And as soon as one posts, you'll be one of the first to be alerted to it. So, yeah, absolutely, no worries. I talked a little bit about career exploration and scheduling a one-on-one appointment with an advisor. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Also shared my contact information in the chat if you'd like a one-on-one appointment. But again, use Handshake to build your network. Sometimes it's not always, and maybe you've heard this cliche, it's not always what you know, but who you know. And that is definitely applicable when it comes to the job search. So building a network via Handshake, as I gave the example a little bit earlier, if an employer reaches out to you and you want to kindly decline the opportunity to connect with them, use that also as an opportunity to network. What, do you have any other facilities? Do you have any sister companies? Do you have any positions that you know of that are approaching? Sometimes recruiters have friends. They're also normally recruiters that are in consortiums, or they're in their own professional associations. So it's just a really good way to exchange communication and to connect with others and build a network. All right, your job search using Handshake. So follow some of your favorite employers, and Handshake is always encouraged so that you can receive the appropriate notifications when jobs post. We do have dedicated team members that utilize Handshake every single day. They are active in Handshake. Their role is to connect with employers, scheduling upcoming live events and sessions that are facilitated by employers. A lot of times these are information sessions, and sometimes they are sessions with the trending topics that are surfacing in the workplace now. So we do have 2 dedicated team members that work with Handshake, even the vendor in itself. I, too, used to approve positions, so we look at each position that comes through with human eyes. So I like to say that because it's not always done by artificial intelligence. So we do use human eyes to look at any positions that come through. We do our best to validate them and post them appropriately. We understand that as an active student or an alumni, searching for a job is a job in itself. There's some return on investment there. So we want to make sure that any position that you apply for, as you customize your resume, you gather your credentials and your needed documents for positions, these are validated positions. So we definitely do our best to make sure of that. If you are interested in looking for remote work from home opportunities, there are certain phrases that Handshake likes to receive to be able to funnel those opportunities to you. Remote is definitely one of them, work from home. You can even use the acronym WFH or virtual to be able to search for those types of opportunities. Employers, keep in mind, and this is a big note that I always like to remind each and every time I do this workshop, is even if you see a position posted and it does not say remote, work from home, virtual, ask the employer. You can definitely message them on using Handshake. There is a messaging app, And so ask them, is there a potential or an opportunity for this position to be remote? I'm extremely interested in it. Just curious if this is remote or maybe hybrid, where I could come into the office a couple of days out the week and work a couple of days from home. So just because it's not posted does not mean that that particular position is eliminated from being a remote opportunity. So I always like to share that so that you can take advantage of asking the employer if that option is out there. And so I do want to share the link around finding remote opportunities just in case anyone that has joined me this evening has interest in that. So just toss that link in the chat for you all. So I'm just going to take a really quick pause here to see if anybody has any questions, thoughts, comments, learning something new about Handshake that you didn't know. And if so, great. If not, I'm going to keep moving right along. So the way to utilize Handshake to its maximum capacity is definitely to search, to save, and to apply. So you can use job titles or company names specifically. You can filter by location. So depending on what your territory is, I think someone had referenced earlier that they received opportunities from employers, but it just wasn't within their state. So you are able to navigate and use Handshake to filter by your location, full-time, part-time status, search for any internships based off of your industry of choice. Employers, again, post new jobs daily. When I was on the team approving positions, I've seen as little as 10 jobs, new jobs being requested for approval, up to about 110 jobs in one day. So that just kind of gives you an idea and a visual of how many positions are being submitted on a regular basis. Absolutely. I see your comment in the chat here, some help with your resume. By all means, please feel free to connect with us, either myself directly or any of the amazing advisors that are on the team. Happy to assist you with your resume. I referenced a little bit earlier the quick apply option. So if you decide to utilize your mobile device and download Handshake, you can apply either externally, so you can go to the actual website of the organization of your choice, or you can use the quick apply option. But keep in mind, the only caution to quick apply is sometimes it's preferred by employers that you customize your resume. And when I reference customization, I mean utilizing keywords from the job description and include them in your resume. So if you decide to use the quick apply option, which is great, you will be sending out your standard resume repeatedly, but if you like, take a few minutes just to kind of customize, utilize, keep in mind there's an applicant tracking system that assigns a match rate to your document. So the more keywords from the job description that you have saturated in your resume, the higher the probability for you to be able to move through the selection process. So I like quick apply. I think it's really easy if you're on the go and you see something that you want to reach out to, and I definitely support it. But I do want to also remind you that customizing your resume is indeed a crucial factor to applying for a position or when you're in an active job search. Absolutely. We have resources for all workers and all in their job search. So yes, no worries at all. Happy to help you with that. All right. Messaging employers in Handshake. So has anyone ever scheduled an appointment with an advisor before? Have you worked with any of our advisors on the team one-on-one? Handshake or another way? Okay, no worries at all. This is definitely, I know when I facilitate any one-on-one appointments, one of the things that I encourage is someone says, well, I've applied for a handful of positions, I haven't quite heard back, I feel like I've checked the box on everything during my job search, what else is there? And one of the primary things that I often encourage is to message recruiters. I reference that on Handshake, employers create a profile just like an active student, just like an alumni, and many times they include their contact information. So that contact information is included because they want to be contacted, not because they are required to do so. They want to be contacted. They want to engage. They take the time out to create a profile so that they can interact with you. So I often encourage message an employer directly. Let them know. So you have two ways of communication here. An employer may message you for a position based off of your profile, and you have the opportunity to message them. It's a safe way to build a relationship with the employers, and it shows them that you're a self-starter. You are invested in your career. More importantly, you're invested in the industry that you've chosen, that you've acquired your academic degree in. So it really shows a display of being energetic and a desire to want this industry and to be saturated in it. So also a few messaging tips. You want to provide details on the job you're interested in, offer an opportunity to learn more about the company, and also show that you've conducted your research. I've been on your website. I see some of your core values are delivering results, ownership, courage. Are there others? I'd like to learn more. So make sure you show that you've done your research, and that helps them to solicit more input and also to see, again, your engagement. You also can prepare for interviews if you decide to message with the recruiter, and they're able to answer any questions that you may have. So definitely encourage messaging equally as employers also reach out to you. Great question. Who's hiring? What companies out there are hiring via Handshake? This is not all of them, but the slide that I'm getting ready to show you to take a quick peek is a few of them, and they're broken down by sections. So, of course, we offer healthcare, teaching, business, and IT. So for our technology employers, we have everyone from Amazon all the way to Facebook, or I'm sorry, Meta. We have the media, so we have the New York Times, some marketing employers, Ernst & Young for finance, some government employers if you are definitely looking to work as a government employee or official, and then, of course, in education. So these are not all of them, but these are some of our popular employers that are hiring, that are actively posting positions on Handshake. So definitely happy to share that information. So this page here is pretty much just a snapshot of how you are able to access Handshake and utilizing our career professional development page, and I'm actually going to take you directly to it instead of just showing you a snapshot. So if you can see my screen, you can just go straight from Google and do WGU Career Services. The first link here is our career professional development homepage. These tabs here are our navigation tabs. So if you go to job search, the one right in the middle, and put your cursor over it, or your mouse over it, and scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see Handshake Helpful Topics. And so this is where we house any and all things around Handshake. So if you are trying to get started with Handshake, maybe you have a profile, maybe you haven't created one. If you touch the plus sign here that's adjacent to the question of interest, here's a hyperlink that gives you direct step-by-step instructions to help getting started with Handshake. If you're an alumni, someone asked a little bit earlier about using Handshake as after post-graduation or services, so you're able to do so with the extended articles and guide of how to find Handshake. Different universities utilize Handshake, so you want to make sure that you're connected with the right school. So here's a guide here. Receiving notifications, changing your password, utilizing your mobile device, managing your notifications and preferences. This includes your location. It also includes work from home, remote, internships, so whatever preferences you've set up, how to manage them. Completing your Handshake profile, I think someone might have referenced in the chat a little bit earlier that they think they're 100%, but not quite. So if you haven't completed your profile, here are some step-by-step guides and instructions on how to do so, how to make it private and even public for employers. Sometimes people, I've had this feedback before, they liken Handshake to social media, and it's not really social media. It's the intent is a professional intent to be able to connect with employers and to find positions. But if you want to create a private profile and you really just want to search employers and search jobs and not be contacted, then you definitely have that option available. And more importantly, applying for jobs. So this is the instructions and the hyperlinks of how to find out about your application status, about internships. Maybe you applied for a position and you decided to accept a position elsewhere. You can withdraw your application. And also, most employers do not ask about the grading policy since WGU is a competency-based university. But if that question ever arises with an employer or you want to include it on your resume, then this is how you can explain the grading policy that we utilize. So I'm going to take this link, toss it in the chat for any of you that would like to do some more self and independent exploring. But this is where you can find all things that are guide and instruction related when it comes to Handshake. So hope that is indeed helpful to you. And again, just referencing our screen, so this is the snapshot, and this is exactly where you would find it. We also have some information around fraudulent job and internship postings. So just as a friendly reminder, we do have team members that approve and or reject, or sometimes we request more information from employers before we actually provide them the opportunity to post a position. But in the event some jobs slip past us, then there is some information around avoiding what may seem like a fraud position or a fraud internship. So it's very helpful to kind of check out if you feel that way. So we can take a few minutes now and explore Handshake. Get my profile pulled up here. And one of my favorite things that I always like to show, which I mentioned a little bit earlier that I was going to share, is definitely some of our analytics. One of the main things not only is about who's hiring, but how many jobs do we actually receive? Is what Lola's sharing about Handshake and navigating my career moves. I mean, are these jobs really out there? And someone referenced earlier, employers reached out to me, but they were out of state. Well, there are so many jobs. There are so many employers out there. And so if you can still see my screen, this is just a listing of employers with active jobs right now. And then one of my favorite details to share is new jobs year to date and year over year by industry. So let's just say you are in healthcare. Last year, 2021, there were 6,400, a little over 6,400 jobs posted in Handshake. This year, we're close to 10,000. So that's about almost a 3,000 increase of positions that have been posted. Maybe you're looking at accounting. Last year, there were 406 jobs posted. This year, we have over 2,000 jobs that are posted. IT is always another one of my favorite ones to look at. So anything from IT to telecommunications, human resources for anyone that's in our that's on the workshop with me today. In our business realm, last year 336 jobs. This year 596 positions that are out there. So and the list just kind of goes on and on and on about the increase of positions. So what is this telling us? Handshake is indeed useful. It's helpful. Jobs are posted here all the time. Indeed is great, Monster is great, Simply Hired is great, LinkedIn is great. All of those nationally recognized job boards are great. Handshake is, though, exactly what it's called, Handshake, where employers can connect with active students and alumni, and this is how they do so by posting jobs. So I hope that intel was a little bit helpful for you, just to kind of share some light on how active the employers are on Handshake and engaging with the positions that they're posting. So there are jobs out there. All right. So once you create your profile for Handshake, it will look very similar to this. If you want to make your profile stand out, you can do that here. If you want to attend an event, you can do that here. But your navigation tools will be right here. So if you want to search jobs, events, or research employers, you can do that right here. So if you click on jobs, you have your filtering tabs here from location, full-time, internship. Maybe you're just looking for something part-time to complement while you're going to school. And we don't really have on-campus positions, but these are the primary tabs that are used on a regular basis. You can save them by bookmarking them here or by assigning them by relevance. So I'll use, for an example, just human resources. Type that in here. And so right now there are 2.5 thousand jobs that are listed, anywhere from full-time to director of human resources to human resources interns. So this is definitely an opportunity to be able to find a position and search if this is what you're looking for. And you can just use the search bar to type in whatever you like. I'll put, let's just try software. Software. All right, so 4.6 jobs are posted right now that are available. So this just gives you an idea of how to search for a position and how to use keywords that are out there. If you want to just put software intern, whatever type of keywords that you would like to use, you definitely can put that in there. So here's an intern engineering opportunity. So our next tab over would be events. And so right now, these are all the events that are being led. This is the one that we're in this evening that's virtual. Then this is an upcoming event. So this is a combination of WGU-led events by our team, as well as events that are led by employers. So this looks like this is an information session that's going to be led by the Cleveland Clinic on December the 1st. So if you're looking for various opportunities to connect with employers, here's the way to do it: the FBI special agent information, where you can do a Q&A session. Again, I'll reference back if you are in an active job search, or if you're not, you're just inquiring, this is a great way to just take some time out, see what upcoming employers are attending events, ask questions. Make sure you do your research, though, ahead of time. So if being an FBI special agent is something that's interest to you, go on their website. What do they do? What does the job description say? That kind of helps you create a bank of questions to ask when you're able to do so. Can a student apply for an internship that will happen after their graduation semester? The answer to that is normally yes. However, that is based off of the employer. So when you're doing your search, what you want to do is read the application guidelines in detail. Some employers do like for you to still be an active student. Some employers don't mind. Some employers want you to be approaching graduation, maybe within a semester or two from graduating. So to answer your question, it could potentially be a yes, but it would definitely be based off of the employer's instructions that they provided in the internship guidelines. So hopefully that is helpful to you. All right, so leading on up into December, I know there's still some events that are occurring in the month of November. As we approach the end of November here, we're already crossed the halfway threshold. But here is anything from education. Here's Ernest & Young has a learning series. So the list just keeps going on and on and on. So if you create your profile, you too are able to find the jobs by clicking on the jobs tab, find events and employers that interest you. And then this final tab here is a good way to find employers. So you can type a specific employer. I'm just going to take a stab at trying to find Pepsi, and here they are: Pepsi Mid-America, Pepsi Bristol. So maybe there's an employer that you're targeting. I used the example a little bit earlier about no matter where you are in your career crossroad at this time, maybe you're looking to career elevate, maybe you're just looking for a certain employer for their stature and their Fortune 500 and where they are as a staple in the industry. And if that's the case, you can search directly for that employer. But if you're just looking for jobs, or maybe you find a job with the company, I'll use one for example here, Great Hearts Academies, and then you go to employers, and then you type in Great Hearts Academies. Then you can pull them up and you can check out a review, you can follow them, you can see how many employers they have, where they're located based off of maybe their home office, what their industry is, and then a snapshot of who they are as an organization. So any company of your choosing, this is how you can utilize Handshake to its maximum capacity. Again, I always like to lead with that data and just kind of show you that jobs are posted, new employers are posted on a daily basis actively, but in order to engage with them, these are some of the navigation tools that you will also need to use. I am going to toggle back to our career services page really quickly. and show you that we too provide a page for events. So again, if you look at these navigation tools, we looked at the job search one earlier. If you click on career events here, the left side of this page are events that are facilitated by employers. So some of them we reviewed already. These are in date order, so these are what's occurring for the remainder of November. And then on the right side are education workshops that are led by our team. So just in case you want to see the upcoming ones for the month or any other topics that interest you. All right, perfect. So that kind of rounds out our presentation for today. We did some exploration of Handshake. We talked about Handshake benefits and its features, how to find the jobs. We talked a little bit about utilizing Handshake post-graduation, so even if you're an alumni, it's still accessible to you, as well as the services that we offer as career advisors. So any questions for me? We actually have quite a bit of time left in our hour together, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And it looks like it's one in the chat now. Employers searching for applicants through Handshake know that these are students who have no experience. Right. Yes, that is correct. Well, and to be honest with you, it's a combination. Some do have experience. Some have worked in the field before. Some are going to school because maybe their employer is paying for them to acquire a degree, or some people already have an undergrad and they're looking for a grad level degree. So it's not always a someone with minimal to limited to zero experience. It's always a combination. But to answer your main question, what do employers know about about Handshake and who they're connecting with? They know that it is students. They also know that it's alumni and that it's a combination of talent, because that's what they're seeking. They're seeking talent. That's why they're using Handshake to fill positions. They want new talent. And they want to be able to provide that opportunity to someone that either just graduated or has been looking. So yes, absolutely, to answer your question. Great question. Thank you for sharing that. Wanted to make sure I answered. Can a student apply for an internship that will happen after that? Yep, so I answered that one. So perfect. Well, if there are no additional questions, I am going to provide you all with some time back. I think one just came through. Any way to network current or recent alumni of WGU students? I'm looking forward to networking with students who are in the College of IT Cybersecurity. Yes, absolutely. Great question. Thank you for asking that. So, hopefully you all can still hear me. I just lost my screen, but it looks like you can. So let me see if I can share or even put in the chat where you can find that information. We have the WGU alumni tool, which is powered by LinkedIn. So that will be the main resource to connect with anyone. So if you're still able to see my screen, hopefully it's still sharing. If you go to our networking page, so what I did, I went back to the WGU Career Professional Development homepage, tab 1, Career Tools, and then Get the Job. And then right here is Networking. And step 2, Stay Connected, is our WGU University Alumni and Students Networking tool. So if you have LinkedIn, great. You will need it, though, to connect with other students. But I'm going to take this link and pop it in the chat for us so that you can have it. This is super fast for me. Yes, we can see and hear me. Okay, perfect. Yep, I lost my secondary screen, so I don't know what happened to it. But I am going to stop sharing, and I appreciate you all just kind of bearing with me through the technology issues. I am going to once again just put my contact information in the chat. So if you have any questions outside of this workshop or connecting with an advisor or anyone in our department, please feel free to email me directly. I'll also put the email address to our team so that if you are interested in a one-on-one appointment, we are happy to accommodate you. We also take live appointments, so as we used to call it drop-in or just-in-time. So if you email us, any of the advisors can carve out some time throughout their day to just give you a call if there are no appointments available for you. So definitely happy to connect with you. Someone asked a little bit earlier about resume resources. I'm happy to toss them in the chat, but I also am definitely available if you are interested in partnering one-on-one to just kind of talk about your resume. We have a great resume tutorial that some people like to use before they schedule an appointment. So I just popped those resume resources, the link to the resume resources in the chat. And at this time, I'm going to stop the recording.